The unexpected friendship that saved a life. In a city of 8 million, it's easy to feel invisible. And sometimes the most life-changing connections happen in the quietest corners. This is the story of Harold Grant, a retired literature teacher in his late 70s, and Jamal Reyes, a 17-year-old trying to stay one step ahead of trouble. Two people from two different worlds, brought together by a spilled coffee, a dusty bench, and a paperback novel. Harold Grant was a fixture in the neighborhood. Every morning at 9 a.m. sharp, he'd take the same walk to Washington Park, carrying a small tote bag filled with worn-out paperbacks and a stainless steel thermos. He'd sit on the same bench, just under the big maple tree, and read for hours. To most people, he was invisible. To Jamal, he was just that old guy who didn't mind pigeons. Jamal was on the verge of giving up. High school felt like a joke. His older brother had dropped out and was serving time. His mom worked nights as a nurse. And the streets? They offered more guidance than the school counselors ever did. It was a Tuesday when it happened. Jamal was speeding through the park on his skateboard, headphones in, hoodie up, barely looking where he was going. He clipped the edge of the bench and knocked over Mr. Grant's coffee. The steaming liquid splashed across the pages of the book. Jamal froze, expecting an outburst. But instead, Mr. Grant chuckled. "Well," he said, wiping the pages with his sleeve, "I suppose Hemingway just got a little hot-headed." Jamal blinked. "Who?" "Ernest Hemingway." Mr. Grant smiled. "One of the greats." Jamal mumbled an apology and turned to leave. But then Mr. Grant called out, "You ever read The Old Man and the Sea?" "I don't read," Jamal said flatly. "Most people say that," Mr. Grant replied, "until they find the right story." The next day, Jamal returned. He didn't sit, just leaned on the tree. Mr. Grant didn't say much either. But after a few minutes, he handed Jamal a beat-up copy of The Outsiders. "Try the first 2 pages," he said. "If it's boring, I'll leave you alone forever." Jamal rolled his eyes, but he took the book. That night, he read 5 chapters. Something about it. About Pony Boy, about feeling like you didn't fit anywhere. It made sense. He went back to the bench the next morning. No words, just nodded. Mr. Grant smiled and handed him another book. And just like that, a quiet routine was born. Over the next 2 months, Jamal began showing up daily. Sometimes he talked, sometimes he just sat, but slowly the conversations grew longer. They talked about books, about music, about the way the world treated people who looked like Jamal differently. Mr. Grant didn't pretend to have all the answers, but he always listened. He always asked questions. He treated Jamal like his thoughts mattered. And then, one day, the bench was empty. The next day, too. And the day after that. Jamal waited an hour. Then 2. Then he walked to the local library. Mr. Grant volunteered there on Thursdays. The librarian's face fell when Jamal asked. "He collapsed at home," she said softly. "A stroke. He's at Mercy General, in a coma." Jamal stood in silence, fists clenched, jaw tight. He had lost people before, but this felt different. He visited the hospital that evening. Mr. Grant lay still. Machines beeped softly. His glasses were on the side table. His hands, so often flipping pages, were limp. Jamal didn't know what to do, so he did what Mr. Grant would have done. He read, first, The outsiders again. Then, of mice and men, every day, he read to the old man who had once handed him his first real story. Nurses noticed. One said the heart rate monitor would jump every time Jamal spoke. And then, after 2 weeks, just as Jamal was reading the final paragraph of The Old Man and the Sea, "That's a good one," a dry voice rasped. Hemingway always knew how to end a sentence. Mr. Grant had woken up. Mr. Grant's recovery was slow but steady. Doctors later said the daily reading, familiar voices, mental stimulation, likely played a part in his return. Jamal never missed a day. By spring, Mr. Grant was walking again, though with a cane. And that June, Jamal graduated. He walked across the stage wearing a red gown and sneakers. But the moment that brought the room to its feet, when he turned, smiled, and helped Mr. Grant up the stairs to hand him a copy of The Old Man and the Sea signed. "To the man who taught me how to read and how to be heard." We expect heroes to look a certain way, but sometimes they come in corduroy jackets and carry a tote full of books. Sometimes the most unexpected friendships are the ones that save us. Not with grand gestures, but with quiet, consistent presence. With listening, with care, with stories shared one page at a